Hey and welcome to this video. So in this video we're gonna implement edit functionality on a blog post and actually submit the form and do validation. So it's quite similar to how you post a form, it's just a few changes. So let's go into a post here, click edit article, and we actually get to here. So we already have the link under control and Røde is there. But what we actually need to do is, inside here, we need to be sure you can say edit post as save. And then we need to just go inside the controller and see what the class is. So we basically have edit, and then we also need to have public function update, and then change this to update. So what we will do now is we will change this first of all to a post, and then we need to go in here and say blog equals new blog, and then we need to actually also go in and ensure that we first of all remove these, do some validation here, can just put this in here, then we just need to put in request, and then we need to of course implement this one here. So what we do here is we then close this and say else, and here we would then return in this response with the errors code here. So it's very similar to actually how you create a post. What we need to do then is we need to take these here, put them in here, and then we need to say blog, and then we just need to check that it actually gets saved. Now, so one of the things you'll notice is this won't work yet because we are basically doing the exact same thing as creating a new blog post. Only exception is that we need to find the blog post first, and then we will update it by this. And then we can just go in here. So basically all of this can be used again. So what we need to actually do now is we need to say blog find requests ID. So actually what we need to do is instead say blog find ID. Then we can also put this in here and instead say input post ID. So now that we have created this, let's go inside our views and edit the blade.php. We are going to first of all copy and paste all of this here. Of course, this is not gonna work completely, so you can first say update posts. And then we also just need to make sure that we actually get the content in here. Whereas we actually can do exact same thing as when you view a blog post to get the content. So how we do that is by copy and pasting all of this, going into edit here, code list edit instead, and if we now go in here, we got an error, and that's because we don't have the ID. So what we need to do here is we just need to pass in the ID up here. And we can do the same here. Instead of doing it like that, this should work because we are after also posting the ID in the URL. So if we just can remove the spelling error there, by doing this now, we actually have it all here. So as you might remember inside here, we can just access the content by saying blog, and then that's pretty much it. So what we can do in this scenario is we can go in here and say value and beside that we should have a small here, so here you can see who actually wrote it. Blog like this. And of course, let's put this inside a paragraph tag. And then this is the last one. So this is a bit more tricky, but we can easily do this by using JavaScript and PHP together. Luckily, Quill.js offers the possibility to insert HTML the proper way, instead of just assuming you can go up and put it inside the div tag. We can go in here and say let's see what happens now. So, of course, because we don't actually use the proper way to do it with the blade, you may remember you need to do this, otherwise it will not be printed out. This actually fixed the issue. So just to show you that it's identical, what we can do here is we can go in and say post 32, and it's identical. So this post is exactly all of the content in here. So what we need to do now is, first of all, we need to change the URL to the one we have here. And here we actually need to use route. What we can do here is we can go inside here and then we can go in here, then we can go in and say blog ID. And then let's see what happens now. First of all, we need to put this inside some brackets, otherwise this will give an error. So what happens now is if we go inside here, and of course this is not shown because this is so long. So what we can do is we can just put this inside a separate script tag just to be able to read it. This is again something you can revert after we have done this. This is just while we are looking at the code in the inspector, because it's going to be so long. So now it posts to there. And what we need to make sure now, we have the title and the content. That's good. And we have the AJAX set up. In the blog controller, we need to be sure that first of all it finds the ID. Then if it passes, it will update title and content. So let's see what happens now. It updates the title so far, so it should work perfectly fine. Just to be sure about that, let's see. Hello world. And that's good. And it updates this when it was last updated. So if we then remove something here, the title field is required. So now you can actually update your blog post via AJAX, and it will give a notification if it gets updated successfully. Thank you very much for watching this video. In the next video, we are going to focus on how you can actually delete an article. And I really appreciate the time you spent so far watching this series. I know it's a really long one. I really hope you will be able to use these features I have implemented, and you will be able to do that. If you will be able to use them and you think the content I create is awesome, hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you can get notifications next time I make a video about something you like.